Welcome to FutureSync, Plymouth's largest collection of people with a serious interest in the digital innovations of bathroom sinks.
Excuse me, Tony, I don't think that's what it's all about. FutureSync is a tech conference keeping you in sync with the latest digital trends and the largest gathering of digital creatives in Plymouth. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We're really excited to see so many people passionate about the digital creative industry. And we couldn't imagine a better crowd to help us celebrate the exciting tech and digital innovation that is going on in Plymouth and the Southwest.
Over today, we've got 27 speakers spread across 3 tracks with an amazing opening keynote and closing panel. Guiding you through our 3 tracks are our amazing track hosts. We have Lissafee Crump on software development, Joe Crossley-Anderson on creative design, and Gary Hunt on business innovation. Hopefully those 3 tracks will spark your creativity over the course of the day and lead to some amazing new partnerships.
Now I would like to welcome to the stage our opening keynote speaker, Rubi Kaur. Rubi is a senior solutions architect at Vodafone Group and trustee of the Chartered Institute for IT. Rubi works really hard to increase awareness of the societal and ethical impacts of technology and make sure that the tech profession is forever inclusive, diverse and progressive in a modern digital world. Please give a big round of applause to Rubi Kaur.
Hello, good morning. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Marina, for that lovely welcome. So this is my first FutureSync conference, and it's going to be such an exciting day. We are going to learn so much. We will go on a journey. And I'm so excited because I met the speakers yesterday, and believe me, they're very excitable, and they're going to give 100% today in their presentations. So I hope that today we will do more than just dip our toes into the future world of technology. I hope that we will do a full mind, body and soul total immersion to find our digital destiny. Because what I want to do with you this morning, I want to work with you in the macro level, yet I also want you to think most deeply. Because today, this morning, we are going to try and answer the question. It is 2019. Are we now living in the age of digital enlightenment? And I won't ask you for a show of hands just now, because I'm a bit schizophrenic. And what I will try and do is argue for the Enlightenment and also argue against the Enlightenment. But before we do, let me just give you a few minutes about myself. Okay, so I have been working in the tech industry for nearly 25 years now, and I've absolutely enjoyed myself. I'm working in the telecoms industry at this moment in time. Oh, and it's great news that 5G, would you believe it, is coming to Cornwall very soon. You may have heard of this, or you may have not, but it's coming soon. But in my 25 years, I've worked on such diverse projects in that time, and it's absolutely been amazing. And I've learned that this industry, this digital tech industry, is one of the best industries you could possibly work in right now. So you guys, you've made the right choice by being here, by finding out what's going to happen in the future. And the other reason, on reflection, why I've absolutely enjoyed my 25 years is because diversity is a fantastic thing. Imagine people from different backgrounds, different social standings, different viewpoints, different ideas, all coming together to unite to form absolutely brilliant solutions. Diversity is a beautiful thing. Diversity is an incredible thing, and it should be celebrated. So in my 25 years, I've worked on some amazing projects, some very good and some very bad. But nowadays, bad projects are good things because we learn from bad projects. We learn to pivot, we learn to take new avenues from our bad projects. I want to share just 2 little projects that I've been working on in those 25 years. So, about 20 years ago, I was working for a company called Genie, which would later become O2, and I got called to a meeting because there would be this new service. It was going to be called picture messaging. I was a solution designer at the time, and I thought to myself, picture messaging? Okay, here's the idea. You have a camera, you get the camera and you put it into your phone, and all of a sudden you can take pictures and send them to anyone you want to. That doesn't sound ludicrous now. That sounds, hey, we do that all the time. Go back 20 years. We were working with phones that were about screen size about that big. They were monochrome, and the standards were very rudimentary at that moment in time. So picture messaging, I wasn't the only one who sat in that room thinking, this will never work. And I was a solution designer at that time. And so roll forward about 6 months from those 20 years. All of a sudden, a company called Apple appeared on the scene. And they came up with something called the iPhone, and all of a sudden, it was game on. And they completely blew us out of the water. So I've got some life lessons about what innovation is all about. So I'm going to roll forward 25 years now, and I'm currently working on a project called Operator Console. And putting it very simply, it's a digital switchboard, and it allows us to bring enriched calls to a digital operator. Okay, brilliant. It's visual, it's mouse control, we could do everything. We were selling this product with Vodafone across the world. We thought we were absolutely brilliant, first in the world to do this. Then, 3 years ago, I started studying for an MBA. And I had the pleasure, the word is not understated, I had the pleasure of sitting next to Barry, who's in that photograph there, and his adorable guide dog called Sky. Barry is registered blind. And I was the one that was blind when I sat next to Barry, because I witnessed how he navigated the whole of the world with his guide dog, and also he used screen readers and digital technology to actually get through the whole of the MBA, and he never moaned once like I did. And he awoken a spirit in me that said, we need accessibility for all our products. And so I've gone back to Vodafone, and we've been building the product which is fully integrated with JAWS products and screen readers. So now we're opening up to new avenues and for new people to start using our product. So very quickly, my life lessons were, and they work like this. Okay, never again would I underestimate the power of human endeavour for creativity and innovation. Never again would I do that. And life lesson number 2, never again would I build products and services that leave people behind. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so I come to a lot of these. I should put this in my hand, shouldn't I? I come to a lot of conferences, and I meet with such inspiring people like yourselves, and I've listened to fantastic talks as you will from our speakers as well. And one of the things I learn, it's not just the connections you make from listening to all the different speakers. It's not just the new learnings that you take back to your workplaces and in your lives. What I've learned in 25 years is all about joining the dots. If you can join the dots from every single thing you learn today and take it back to your home life, to your work life, to your social life, then that's when the magic really begins. And my plea to you all today, and we'll use this theme, is to try and join the dots with whatever we learn today. Most important that we join the dots. So let's get back on topic and let's take a look at our digital world, because that's what we're all about here. So, at the last count, about 4.4 billion people are now online. Does everyone think that's a large number or a smallish number? Yeah? Okay, let me tell you. You need a bit of context here. Okay. 7.5 billion people in the world today that are living, okay? That means that's roughly about 2/3 of the world are now online. So, here you are, digital today in Plymouth. That's your opportunity, the world is waiting for your products. At 4.4 billion extra users that you could actually infiltrate. So, mobile, everyone is mobile now, everyone's moving around, you know. We have smartphones, we don't just have phones, we have smartphones now in the developed world. But 5.1 billion people are starting to use mobile phones for the first time. That's another incredible number. And there was I sitting in a meeting 20 odd years ago thinking about picture messaging, thinking, who will use this? Who will use the service? There's my answer. 5.1 billion people will start to use mobile phones. And as the population grows at 1.1% every year, this is keeping track. People are coming online all the time. Social media is growing, very much so in the Far East, surprisingly. The number of users for mobile internet at the moment, that's growing, and that's all thanks to India and China at this moment in time. Big populations, big opportunities for everyone. I've lost my clicker now. So, here's the question, is this the age of digital enlightenment? We've got so many people coming online, we've got so many people using digital technologies, not just consumers but businesses as well. Is this the age of digital enlightenment? So, I soon will give you a vote on this, but what I want to do is give you a bit of a definition here. What do we mean by the Enlightenment? So according to the Gospel of Wikipedia, which we all believe, of course, I want to build on some of the synonyms that we've got here. So we've got understanding, we've got insight, we've got education, learning and knowledge. And my build on changing the narrative slightly is it's more than that. It's actually an awakening. It's actually a belief that you change because the way you work today and the new technologies that you're using, you are affecting so many people, you are impacting so many people that they actually decide, hey, tomorrow it's going to be different. We will work in a different way because the tools that you provide to us, we can now work and behave in a totally different way. So our values are changing. Our core values are being aligned and resonating to this new way of working. And that's how you move a peoples. So that's what the Enlightenment is. It's also, very importantly, it's also a time period that happened during the 16th and 17th centuries, 17th and 18th centuries, sorry. So we also want to take note of what happened during our Enlightenment period of the intellectual movement that will influence us. I'm going to do something dangerous now. Okay, I want to ask you guys here, who thinks that we are in the age of digital enlightenment? Can we just have a show of hands? Yeah, there's a trickle there. Okay, right, and can I have a show of hands for people who don't think we're in the age of digital enlightenment now? Okay, that's a little bit more who don't think we're in the age of digital enlightenment. Okay, I don't want to give a show of hands of people who just think they just don't care we're in the enlightenment at all, because that probably everyone's hands would go up. Okay, so what we want to do is to try and go back in history. We're going to go back in history, okay, and actually work out, are we in the age of enlightenment? So, come with me, please. The age is 1665, and it's 40 years since the Mayflower sailed from these very shores. And the next 2 centuries will be known as the Long Century. Voltaire will awaken a spirit in us. He will tell us through his satirical prose that we need to listen to people's freedoms. There must be freedom of speech, he will say for the first time. Jacques Rousseau will talk to us and awaken another spirit within us, because he will tell us that no one has the divine right to rule over us. No one has the divine right. There must be democracy. He will also tell us and also form the initial economic and political systems that we use in modern day life today. Francis Bacon, who I'm sure is related to Kevin Bacon, will also say that no scientific experiment will be complete and absolute without academic rigor and scientific inquiry. Mary Wollstonecraft will be the first ever gender pioneer. She will tell us that women must be educated alongside men, the first ever gender pioneer. And also William Morris. William Morris will start a movement called the Arts and Crafts Movement. And again, he will awaken a spirit about the beauty of creative design that we will take forever. And this will be against the brutalism of the Industrial Revolution. So all these fantastic pioneers and philosophers, they made a seismic shift in our societal being. And they provided the arena for creativity and innovation to flourish. That everyone took within their minds that everything they had believed, everything they had cherished, everything they had loved was now being turned upside down because people had learned to question, people had learned to challenge, and people had started to look for answers for the first time. And this would carry on throughout the centuries. So you probably say, well, what happened in the lifetime of science and how did we get to the digital world? And of course that begins, you probably can't read some of this and I apologise, that begins with Charles Babbage, who, I guess he started the first ever computer, which was a mechanical computer system. And together with Ada Lovelace, who apparently, and I believe this, wrote the first ever computer code many centuries ago, they would start the very beginnings of computer science. And it wasn't until the mid-20th century that we got this huge acceleration for computing. Logic gates became more enhanced. And we started to get more and more tech pioneers starting to appear. And we had so much more that was given to us in the world of technology. And you'll read some of the rock stars that are there. Does anyone know of Claude Shannon? Is it your name? One person knows of Claude Shannon. 2 people have heard of Claude. So, this guy was a rock star. This guy is the original pioneer of information theory, yet we don't even know who he was. He started the whole of IT practically from what we know today. Yet we've got the other people up there. The Woz is up there. Steve Jobs is up there as a pioneer as well. And also, of course, Berners-Lee. So there was such an acceleration of technology in the mid-20th century that worked so fast. And it's caused a revolution today. We're now living in the 4th industrial revolution. And these revolutions have been powered either by steam power, electricity, electronics, and now information technology. But what an industrial revolution brings, it brings winners and it brings losers. And this is what we need to start to think about. So I want to present the arguments for and against the Enlightenment. Okay, the first one for the Enlightenment is, of course, the World Wide Web. And the World Wide Web has fundamentally changed our lives. It's changed our lives in the way that we live, the way that we work, the way that we love, the way that we hurt, and the way that we die. Absolutely fundamentally changed our ways in which we live today. The World Wide Web, must say the World Wide Web, celebrated 30 years of existence. Only 30 years of existence? Absolutely amazing that it's only been here for 30 years. Although there's a lot of work done before that, but commercially it became available in 30 years. It was designed to be open and free. Listen to those words, open and free. And also, it was designed to be human to human, built for the whole of humanity to use it. And we have the evidence there. 4.4 billion people are now online. And it's actually changed us. Not just socially, it's changed us economically as well. And you will know a lot of this already, like, disruption has happened because of the World Wide Web. Companies like Facebook Google, Amazon, these didn't exist 30 years ago, and it's all thanks to the World Wide Web that these have come into being. Facebook has 2.1 billion users at this moment in time. 2.1 billion. Does anyone know of any business that's got so many users? So many users, so much influence. And also, the World Wide Web has brought us collaboration. I can collaborate with anyone across the world. You can collaborate with anyone across the world. This has absolutely changed the way that we work. And we've also got the sharing economy now. Anyone can set up a virtual shop anywhere across the world. And we all know that Airbnb, that has no hotels. We also know that Uber has no taxis. Amazon, until about a year ago, had no physical shops, but it now does have shops as well. But the whole business model has been turned upside down, and this is all because of the World Wide Web. This is changing us. This is doing something amazing to us. And my next argument for the Enlightenment is data, the power of data. The internet would not work unless we had data. So data, as we probably all know, is often termed as the brand new oil discovery that's happened in the 21st century. And if you can mine that data, you can find nuggets of gold. And when you find those nuggets of gold, that's again where the magic really starts to happen, because you can draw insight from that data. And combined with data science, you can do amazing things. You can actually build empires out of your data. And if you're a data scientist, any data scientists in the room today? Just one. He'll know where all the money is going to be, okay? Because data science is one of the prime jobs that people are looking for at this moment in time. And also, I read, okay, that the data science will inherit the earth. Okay, because they have the power. Data is power, okay? And also, once you've got insight, obviously you can do action. So these are arguments. The power of data is an argument for the Enlightenment. So here's just an example of how much data is produced every day. And the incredible thing is that we've had to produce new SI scales for this. Exabytes. I had not heard of exabytes until recently. Exabytes, 10 to the power 18? Yeah, okay, someone agrees with me. 10 to the power 18. Okay, and that's last year. Okay, imagine how much that has quadrupled now, that data I've got there. Then it will go up to 468 exabytes by 2025. And I think one of the main reasons for that happening is not just because more consumers are using data, producing data, it's also because we've got this thing called the Internet of Things. Machine to machine, which also produce data. So, who's got their hands on the data will be a winner in all of this, okay? So, data can reveal many things. Now, I gave this talk to a group of CEO charity leaders about a couple of years ago, and the one thing that made them sit up and squirm on their seats was when I said to them, data can reveal many things, and this is a bit of data that was collected by YouGov a while ago. And it reveals some startling information. Data can reveal how often do you change your underwear, okay? So when I looked at this, startlingly, worryingly, that 1% of, I don't know how many people were surveyed, but it's a public vote, only 1% of people change their underwear once a week. 1%. And is this more worrying that 2% of people don't even wear any underwear as well? So, this is it. Data can reveal many, many interesting things about us. And then, as we'll go on later, if data is exploited, then people can do many things with that data. So, roughly about 5 people here are not wearing any underwear. So, that's what I can work out from this. Okay, next one. Number 3, for the Enlightenment, artificial intelligence. Now, no one goes, wow, when I go artificial intelligence. If I want to, I've got an IT problem, I don't speak to a person anymore. I go onto a system and it's a robot that's speaking to me now, answering my questions. And of course, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I was a bit weary of this robot talking to me. It's all done online. But I've got used to this little robot answering me now. It's ever so polite, and it does answer my questions. So it's a case of when, you know. And then, combined with deep learning and machine learning, we're getting so much further that we're able to do clever things like predict. Never before could we predict so acutely and so finitely unless we have artificial intelligence. And of course, I'm just using a macro level here, okay? There are many deep concerns about this, but we can change the way we are working with artificial intelligence. Are people using artificial intelligence in their work here? Just a show of hands, please. How many guys are using it? That's a good 0.25%. The other guys, it'll come. Believe me, it'll come. So there is this thing called the race for AI. Okay, there are many companies around the world which are startups, which are starting to take part in AI. And you'll notice that, of course, North America is storming a lead on this at the moment with a number of startups in the AI space. But China, India, Europe, catching up. And the last report I read was that AI within China, I think they're producing more technical papers now. So the intellectual capability is certainly shifting between the West towards the East. There is a race for AI going on at this very moment in time. And the question is, where are these AI companies? What are they forming? Okay, so the number of patents so far in that list of about roughly 10, healthcare. Lots of AI companies are heading for healthcare now. Never before was technology exploited in such a way than healthcare. And also the financial services. That's where it's also going. People are starting to use AI in financial services commercially now. Okay? So, but there are many places, not just within technology, not just within our commercial world, where AI is being used. It's also being used in robotics as well, in healthcare, okay? This is a quick little video of an amazing robotic called Maslow Robotics, which during the pre-op of an operation on the spine, there's a lot of data science done and algorithms that allow the surgeon pre-op to actually look at where the operation must be made in the spine. This is incredible work because it is so dangerous to do spinal surgery. And as the video rolls, these are the 3D simulations that the data science and the algorithms and the analytics have put together to guide the surgeon pre-op. And when he comes to actually making the incision, this robotic tool is guiding him all the way because you need precision when you need to make an insertion into someone's spine because it's such a dangerous thing to do. And this lovely little thing, like a Wally, okay, this lovely little thing, this is the out-of-box experience. You know, he's got the laser-guided eyes that are completely going to, throughout the operation, watch and feed back real-time data to the surgeon of where the incisions are going and what's happening. And it is absolutely incredible. And this is being used. This is not just, fantasy that can happen. This is actually real. It's all like this. It's all out of the box. You can buy one if you had a few £1 million to spare. But, this is how it is. But my question is, could a human have done all of the data science themselves? Could a human have actually, created those incisions so precisely and with that level of danger involved? We need artificial intelligence. We need data science to help us. Can AI actually help us live? Okay, we're all used to using Amazon Echo, we're all used to using Siri now, but has anyone met Sophia yet? Nobody's had the pleasure of meeting that humanoid called Sophia yet. Well, go on to Google, YouTube Sophia, and you will see some interviews that she has done with interviewers, and she's absolutely freaked out every single interviewer that has interviewed her so far. So she is a humanoid built by, I think it's Hanson Robotics, and she has about 600 facial expressions that she delivers when she talks to you. Pretty creepy when she speaks to you, by the way. And these expressions come about because she has learned through training data and algorithms and artificial intelligence the ability to answer people's questions. And it is please do go on to there, and she's absolutely freaky. There is also something called Somnex. It's another AI gadget. Anyone heard of Somnex? Okay, Somnex is a pillow-sized gadget, okay, nice and fluffy, and what you're supposed to do is probably about as tall as I am, and what you're supposed to do is cuddle up to this Somnex gadget, okay, because it's meant to help you sleep, okay, and it helps you sleep, this is the weird bit, it helps you sleep by gently snoring next to you, very quietly, and it's meant to make you feel so lovely, you know, snuggled up next to this pillow, okay. And the report was very funny that I read about this. It was about a person that was doing a review on it. For a couple of weeks they had been using Somnex and they absolutely loved it. Until one morning they woke up in a cold sweat because Somnex had stopped breathing, it had stopped snoring, and that was because the batteries had run out. So look out for Somnex. And it's meant to, you know, where's the use case of people who feel lonely, you know, who want to sleep and snuggle up to something, okay. And then there's Tapia, Tap AI, which is meant to read emotions now, okay. Because if you say to Tapia, I don't care what bedtime story you tell me, right, and it'll probably say something like, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. So there are many examples of AI. So AI jobs for the future, that's scaring all of us, isn't it? Okay. Very quickly, the rate of automation, okay. Adam Smith, long time ago, Industrial Revolution, talked about the division of labour. This is what's happening now. We're going to get a division of labour. By 2025, we will have over 52% of jobs being done by machines. Should we be frightened? I don't know. I think we have to coexist with machines. It's not just a case of machines existing, we have to exist with them. Okay, jobs, new jobs will come from artificial intelligence. And something from Cognizant that was done a while ago, okay, you can't read that very clearly, but in the quadrant, in the magic quadrant, some new jobs, flying car designer. At long last, they promised us flying cars in the 1960s, and at long last, somewhere in the future, we are now going to get flying cars. Yeah. So, what is going to happen to our evolution with our new robotics and humanoids appearing on the scene? So, have we gone too far? Are we altering evolution that we don't want to alter evolution anymore? And I love this guy, I found this on the internet, you know, he's going, hey, let's go back, it's a trap. You know, we have to go back, you know, because it's a case of, we need to coexist. Okay, I don't think we need to go back, we need to coexist. But what about our human needs and motivations? I don't know if you guys have seen this slide before, okay? It's quite common, okay? So our hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is all altering now, okay? I know this isn't generational, this is across the piece, because my mother, when she goes to any hotel, as soon as before she's opened her suitcase, the first thing she says is, where's the Wi-Fi? Is it free? I've got to get onto WhatsApp, I've got to tell my friends what I'm doing and where I am. And she's about 80. And the other thing, I should say free Wi-Fi by now. And also, don't we die if we haven't got any battery life? We absolutely die. Everyone's probably checking where the wall sockets are because we need battery life, we really do. So, are we going too far? That's the question. Are we going too far? Has our technology advanced so much, so far, so soon, I'm sure that's a song, that we really are setting ourselves up for a fall? And there's that wonderful man dangling there because he thinks he can fly, okay? So I want to present the argument against the Enlightenment, data breaches. Data breaches are becoming so common, and it's not good. This is just a snapshot in April, I think it was, in April of last year, okay? And if you look on that list, the majority of those are all about identity theft, identity theft, identity theft. People are taking our identity. Our digital identity is absolutely part of us, okay? You invade our identity and you take away parts of us. And the problem is that we all live our lives online and offline. There is no I am totally off-grid. If you can be, well done to you. But we are online all the time. And this is worrying that data is being taken from us. And you'll see that some of the places where it's been taken, social media is the biggest area where it's been taken. Yet we'll happily, put up our data onto any old website, quite happily. Should we be doing that? Have we gone too far with our data? Are we so lackadaisical that we just don't care about it? Other places, hospitality, booking into hotels, and we do this all the time. We need to be more careful of our data if there are data breaches all the time. Data breaches continued. So I've got some snippets from the BBC and the Guardian and public sector. Okay, these organisations, we give them our data because we want to use services from them, and we have to use public services, yet we're giving them the data. Worrying is the second one. Woking Council breaches data for the fifth time. The fifth time. The first time was bad enough, the second time, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Third, fourth, fifth time, data is being taken from us all the time. And then, the other snippet there, Singapore HIV data leak shakes a vulnerable community. It's beyond belief that when we have things that are so personal to us, that we want to keep so private, and that is being taken and used, and we don't know where it's being used by other organisations, either to exploit us or to sell things to us. It's not good. And then I've just very quickly added the other large organisations there that we've heard about. Experian has lost our data, BA, Uber, Marriott Hotels, and the biggest ones, of course, is Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. I mentioned 2.1 billion people are using Facebook at this moment in time. 2.1 billion? That's about a quarter of the population have now got their data onto Facebook. And what Facebook is doing with their data, we don't know, but we are vulnerable with putting our data onto Facebook. And what can they do? It's not just a case of harvesting that data, keeping it knowingly that they're keeping and harvesting this data, but then they are able to exploit us politically, economically, and socially. And politically is the most frightening one. And especially if you've got vulnerable people in our society, how are they being exploited if they don't understand technology and they don't understand the digital world that we are living in? Evidence number two, against the Enlightenment. So who do you trust? Okay, happily our data is out there in the digital domain, but who do we trust? Are we living in the surveillance state? Is all our data being picked up, snooped on, that we do not even know about this data is being picked up? And if you invade into our privacy, our data privacy, you invade into our identity. And when you invade into our identity, then you're violating the very core of who we are. So our digital lives are almost the same as our real lives. And when our data is picked up, and then trust starts to fall down, it's really a matter of who do we trust? Do we trust the tech organisations? Do we trust the government? Okay. Do we trust the advisors of the government? Do we trust the algorithms? Okay. Who do we trust? And yet behind all of those different organisations I mentioned there lies a person. Okay? It's all about the person who's underneath, a civil servant, a politician, whoever. And then it becomes really fundamental. The question is, who do we trust? Okay? Arguments against the Enlightenment. And the next one is, okay, argument number 3 against the Enlightenment is the digital divide. So we will rush. We are rushing to build these smart cities of the future, our connected digital future, where we will all be connected. Sensors will pick up information, and our lives will be faster, slicker, so much more efficient than ever before. And yet, who do we leave behind as we rush to build these cities of the future, our urban livings? Is it all a case of everyone can use these capabilities of the smart cities? What about my friend Barry? Have we thought about accessibility? Have we thought about building the right kind of environments where people who are autistic or on spectrum and this high sensory world that we're building, is this leaving them behind? Can they take part in this new modern future that we're going to build? And finally, affordability. Are we in a social structure when it's you can if you have the money, and you can't if you don't have the money? So we need to think about affordability also in our digital divide that we are building. And also trust. Who do you trust? So, we here cannot answer all of those questions, okay? We absolutely can't, but there's something we can do for our future. We can think about something that's most important, that has suddenly started to play into the central arena, and that's ethics. So ethics, the only way is ethics, and I definitely got that right, if anyone's been to Essex, okay? Also a very nice place. Ethics is so important because what we start to do with ethics, we kind of like have a little pinch of salt, and we start to say, within our technical designs, we start to say, are we doing the right thing? We're actually questioning that right at the concept stages. Are we doing the right thing? Because we don't know everyone's morals, okay, but we can at least try and think of the right kind of way to do things. And we consider morals at the very start. And we think about people's values. Not just monetary values here, values that are very core to the being on who we are. And these technologies that we're building, we need to make sure that we think about the value of what we're doing here. And most importantly, and I'm going to use this quite a lot, we need to build responsible technology. Responsible technology means you've thought about the ethics. And don't get me wrong, we don't need to labour the whole technical solution or the technical digital world with ethics that we cannot even move. We need a pinch of salt of ethics, just to make sure we are moving in the right direction. Because we know that the technology that we built is starting to be misused, misinformation in terms of how we are using things. So therefore, let's think about the moral code of conduct. Let's think about the values that we're adding to our solutions and make it responsible. So what if everyone here actually put ethics at the very centre of their solutions? We actually thought about who are we harming, who is not being exploited by our solutions. And we didn't mean for that to happen. This is what ethics is all about. We didn't mean for it to happen, but it can be by those people out there. So, what about empathy? Lovely word, empathy. What if we stood in our users' shoes? What if we actually thought about how they're going to use these systems, and is it helping them? What if we actually build responsible tech that it's not harmful to anyone, and it actually helps them do the jobs that they want to do? What if we actually had accessibility? Hearing impairment, visually impaired, cognitive impairments. We actually thought about those people such that we absolutely leave no one behind. What about building for social good? The environmental impacts, the fact that, the sustainable goals, and we absolutely make sure that we are there building for social good and the environment. What about if we included everyone? Diversity is a beautiful thing I said at the very start. Diversity helps build a robust solution because we consider everyone's viewpoint. And what about if we collaborate more? All these heads coming together, forming brilliant solutions. I no longer look upon people as challenges. I think those challenges are fantastic because they help me build a more robust environment, a more robust solution. Collaboration, most important. So, there are my 3 arguments for and against the Enlightenment. And I will answer my own question because I am schizophrenic. Are we in the age of Enlightenment? And my answer is nearly. Okay, it's a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to say nearly. In fact, I'll use the expression, I believe we were on the arc of digital enlightenment. We are so nearly there. If we were more responsible, if we actually thought about our designs, our technology, we are so nearly there in the digital enlightenment age. And finally, I want to tell you that the one thing that is absolutely brilliant with everyone, and the sun comes out, it's beautiful, is that we have passion, okay? Every single one of you in the room is so unique, and it's your passion that's led you here. Your passion to collaborate, your passion to build responsible technology, and that is a beautiful thing to have passion. And passion goes with everything you do, the code that you build, the designs that you make, the innovations that you come out with. It's passion that drives you. And that's why the digital world is heading towards the Enlightenment, because it's passion that moves us. So my challenge to you all today is to join the dots. Don't just work in the superficial and just what you learn and what you hear, but take it to a deeper level. Think about the values that you add. Think about responsible tech, and think about ethics. Thank you.